Hey y'all, you're now tuned in to Talk and Tell, the podcast, where we talk about real life, we give real opinions, and we're healing out loud. And this is episode 6. Listen, so that means we have now been committed for 6 weeks. Okay, round of applause. No, but I play way too much. Listen, y'all. It has been a week, days, I don't know. I'm sure, depending on where you're at in the part of the United States of America, you were affected by Winter Storm Fern. You know what? Fern's little nappy head ass, because I know she nappy head. I am sick of Fern, because listen, we got pounded. I'm in Ohio. We got about, where I'm at, we got about a foot of snow, like 13 inches. Some places got way more, and I think it's utterly ridiculous that this is what I'm dealing with. I always, every winter, at least every winter, I'm like, I gotta move. I gotta leave Ohio. I gotta get out of here. And I always want to move, right? And I believe one day I will move, but I'm letting God guide that plan. But I'm like, after this, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I just like the fact that, and let me tell y'all, my heart is broke. I had to shovel. I had to get out there like a man and shovel. I was out there. My nephew came and helped me, but I was out there like, I know like my driveway is really long, and that is just ghetto, and I just don't want to do that, and I don't deserve to have to do that. I don't deserve to live anywhere where you have to shovel a feet of snow. A foot, a foot of snow. Like, it's really ridiculous. So yeah, I wanted to start, this podcast complaining. Because we talk about real life, right? Okay, and in real life, I am complaining about the weather, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are too. So if you're tuned in and you're watching this and you're complaining about the weather with me, I'm right there with you. We got a work from home day yesterday because it was so bad. We had to go into work today. Our kids ain't been to school in about, I don't know, like a week. Somebody was like, hey, y'all might as well go ahead and get these kids a GED at this point. Because when are they going to school? Listen, we don't know. When they just, here we are though. Here we are. And and we talk about trauma a lot on this podcast. The trauma of having to live in a state where it snows really bad. And I know other places got pounded way worse. So I'm grateful. But I'm still annoyed and I'm still over it. And I want to move on. Like right now, I'm sorry, y'all. Something just came through my phone. Like, mind you, the snow supposed to be done. We didn't already got pounded. This is an emergency alert. I never even had one of these. Severe snow squall warning until 5:45. Slow down or delay travel. Be ready for a sudden drop to near zero visibility in icy roads and heavy snow. What? So that means it's just about to snow really, really bad. Like, you know what? I ain't even about to get up and look. Because I never had that come through my phone. I thought that was an Amber Alert. It's an alert about the weather. It's about to be a whiteout. And the snow's supposed to be done. Fern was supposed to be done. So I guess this ain't Fern. I guess this her little cousin. Who is this? I don't know. Ferret? I'm over it. Listen. Oh, Lord. Let's move on. Okay, we're going to move on. Y'all had enough of me complaining. That's not what we're here for. That is what we're here for. Because we're here to talk about real life, give real opinions, and heal out loud. So that is part of what we're here for. But I know on the last episode we were talking about like digging out those feelings and some experience that I had in therapy when we really just started to dig deep and started to dig out those feelings, right? And those different emotions. And I know I told y'all I'm on my radical self-awareness journey. So February is coming, and that means we're only 4 months away from 40. So I want to do like a 4 months to 40 journey on social media, because on my bingo board, one of my things is to post every day on social media for 30 days. So I was like, okay, I need something like to motivate me, and like, so I need something to post about. So I'm like, okay, let me do like this 4 months journey to 40. And I already post on the 30th of every month about my radical self-awareness journey. So on my radical self-awareness journey, by the time this come out, I have already made my post on TikTok. That's where I do make my post at. If you don't follow me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok. I am Candace Tell. But on there, on this month, the month of January, what I have uncovered on my radical self awareness journey is that I struggle with being true to myself. And I don't know if I did know that or didn't know that. I don't think I fully knew it in the capacity that I understand it now that it has been uncovered to me in these last 30 days. That when I say like true, so not just not being true to your identity, right? But just being truthful about how you feel, being truthful about how something make you feel, being truthful about how those things made you feel. You know, we talked about that on the last episode a little bit, like how when you start to uncover, you know what I mean, and you start to dig deep and you going through them layers and you got to go all the way back down to childhood, then teenage years and all that, young adulthood, whatever. So I'm like, in doing that, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, it's time that I be true to myself and be honest about everything in the way it makes me feel. So, I've been researching like love, like the meaning in the core of love and what love means. And I don't want to get too deep into it because I'm going to talk about that on the next episode. My all of February episodes will be about love in some capacity. If you don't know, Valentine's Day is one of my favorite holidays. And I believe it's one of my favorite holidays just because it's super cute. I love cute stuff. Everything about the decors, the pinks and the reds and the hearts and everything about Valentine's Day is so cute. And like I told y'all, we're uncovering that I low key may be a lover girl at heart. You know, with a no limit soldier core wrapped around it. Yeah, that's what it is. A lover girl wrapped in no limit soldier. I thought I told you. Okay. So, excuse me. So yeah, that is really, I lost my train of thought playing too much. So yeah, that is really what I'm talking about when I'm like, this uncovering, right? And I got there because I was saying Valentine's Day is my favorite day, and we're gonna talk about love all next month in February, okay? And we're gonna put some cute Valentine's looks together. So I'm gonna wear like a lot of little Valentine's looks next month. Wait, so take us back. Y'all know how ADHD, whatever. So uncovering those parts of me that I'm like, okay, Candace, you got to be true about this, and not just be true about it, being comfortable in the truth. Being comfortable in the truth. Because a lot of times we could be like, okay, this is true. I can speak my truth. I can say this. I can say that. I could be very blunt. You know what I'm saying? But then there's an unsettling in my gut. It's an unsettling in my spirit because I'm not comfortable with that truth. Because I might be thinking about like how somebody's perceiving it, how somebody is perceiving me, you know, that whole people pleaser thing and coming out of that people pleaser thing. And also we are just people that want people to perceive the best of us. And not understanding they can perceive what they want to perceive about you regardless. Even if you are showing the best, even if you are being 100% genuine, even if you are being all of the things, right? They're still going to portray you however they choose to. In whichever way that they choose to. So, that since I am, and since I have been releasing myself from people pleasing, and really getting to the core of like why I people please, because that's what it is, right? So you could be like, okay, I'm releasing myself from that because I noticed that I do it and I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm not going to do it anymore. Like cold turkey. And cold turkey don't just work for everything. Now, I've done a lot of things cold turkey, child. Told y'all I was a different person back in that day, in them 20s. So I've done a lot of things cold turkey. And I would say not even cold turkey because God has always been the um the help. You know what I'm saying? But cold turkey far as I was just like, okay, I'm gonna quit this and I quit it. But when it comes to those deep rooted things and when it comes to the emotional pieces and parts of us, it ain't that easy. So you gotta put systems in place and steps in place. And really for somebody like me, the way that I think and the way that I operate, and I'm starting to uncover some things, and I definitely believe I should have been diagnosed. Sometime somebody should have diagnosed me. Okay? The ADHD has always been there. ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it, has always been there and evident. You know, and I'm uncovering some other things might be there too. We don't know. I'm not a doctor, but TikTok, the things that TikTok, the doctors on TikTok, I'm like, ooh wee, y'all talking about me. Ooh wee. Okay, but anyway, so uncovering those being comfortable with the truth, being comfortable in your truth. So that means if I say like, okay, I'm not people pleasing no more, I got to get to the truth of why I'm a people pleaser to begin with. I got to get to the root of why I'm a people pleaser to begin with, so I can dig it up, face it. That's what we got to do. Face it. Face that thing that I didn't even want to notice. Face that thing that I forgot about. Face that thing I dissociated. Face that thing that I put down. That's why we got to dig it up, because we didn't put it down in the ground. So we thought, and it was down there. But once you plant a seed and you put it down in the ground, it's going to sprout up eventually, regardless if that's a good seed or a bad seed. Whatever kind of seed it is, sweet, bitter, tart, it's going to come on right on back up. So that's why they always say, like, and I'm not a gardener, but I know they like, you get to the root of something. Like, you could pull the weeds out, but they're going to grow right back. But once you get to the root of them and you pull them from their root, they won't grow back. So when I say you got to get to that root of that trauma, so you can really live in your truth, speak your truth, and be comfortable in your truth. So tapping into, and I'm using people pleasing as an example, but like, okay, if I don't want to be a people pleaser no more, what started that and how can I overcome that? And now I got to the root of it. So, okay, so we can move on. Like, we can, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can deal with it. We can deal with it and put the systems in place. Because the systems is, okay, this is what caused me to be a people pleaser. This is what triggers me, because then you can identify those triggers. This is what triggers me into people pleasing. Just like what triggers you into being angry, what triggers you into maybe being sad, or what triggers you into crying, cussing and fussing, whatever it may be. Stuff can trigger you into being a people pleaser. So like, what triggers me into being a people pleaser? And when I feel that trigger coming up in my body, what systems can I put in place where I no longer step into that role? When that trigger, I can say, okay, what do I need to do right now? And that's not please this person. I need to do what is true to me, what is true to my spirit, what is true to my life, what is aligned with my life, and not just what's going to make them happy or what's going to make the situation easier. What is not going to be conflict? What is not going to cause conflict? Because I know that's my thing. I'm like, I don't really like conflict. Believe it or not, I'm a big shit talker, but I really don't like conflict. It's not my thing. Because I talk trash for fun. That's just like I literally just talk trash for fun. Like, I love to make people laugh. Trash talking makes people laugh. I'm never trash talking with ill intent. I'm just trash talking because that's just what I do. So, within that is like, okay, which way I'm going now. So with the person that trusts and are true to themselves and they understand their truth is okay without the guilt, without the shame around it, without, you know what I'm saying? And they're comfortable about their truth, speak it in that moment. So regardless of if it's going to cause conflict or whatever it may be, hopefully it doesn't cause conflict if you're speaking with somebody that's mature. And if you're not, you know how to remove yourself away from that conflict and insert your boundaries. And that's where people pleasing really is rooted, and is not being comfortable and setting boundaries, not knowing how to set boundaries, and not even ever being seen or shown how to set boundaries. I read a book. And if you listening, and you ain't read this book yet, and you struggle with setting boundaries, read this book. It's called Setting Boundaries, Finding Peace. Set boundaries, finding peace. And I'm trying to think. I can't think of the person's name. And I'm sure even if I could pull up my Libby, but I'm sure even if I had her name, I'm gonna tear it up. Set boundaries, find peace. Let me see. Will it show me? Because I think this shows me all the books I've read. Okay, hold on, y'all. So yeah, because I want to tell y'all this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so I read this last year. Okay, yes. Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nadra. Nadra, I think it's Nedra Glover. And then she got another last name that I'm a tear. Tawab. Tawwab. I don't know. Okay, that's where we go. That book helped me so much, and it just did it in such a graceful way, and it showed you how to set boundaries, like in your friendships, relationships, romantic partnerships, in your family, work, everything. And that's a book that I read through Libby. But that's one of those books, like if I read it through Libby and I feel like it's something that I want to go back and reference, that's one of those books that I want to buy, highlight some stuff, and be able to go back and reference it when I'm having a hard time setting boundaries, or if I forget and I need a reminder. Oh, excuse me. This is how you set a boundary. I really love that book. So we got there talking about setting boundaries because that's just one of the examples of why you may be people pleasing. So with uncovering this truth, uncovering that I struggle with living in my truth is because I do struggle with being conflict avoidant. And I'm not heavy conflict avoidant, but somewhat. It just depends, right? It really just depends on how I'm triggered. Like if I'm not triggered in a situation, I'm going to be conflict avoidant. If I am triggered in a situation, it's like I'm not going to avoid the conflict. I'm going to speak how I want to speak, but I'm not going to speak it with grace. And I don't want to do that. I want to get to the point where I speak with grace all the time. Like ain't really nothing that could trigger me to make me like lash out on people verbally. I don't lash out on people physically, never have. But verbally, baby, listen. Thank God for grace. Thank God for evolving. God for growth, because verbally, yeah, that's a whole different story. But where I'm at in my life now, that's just not something that I want to do. I really, honestly, truly don't. And I don't want anybody to be able to put me in that position to do it. Like, even if they do, right? I want to be able to be like, and not always be the bigger person. So guess what? At the end of the day, sometimes you're going to have to cut somebody out. It is what it is. You're going to have to cut somebody out. That's just, it's inevitable. But that should not be your playing field. You know, that should not just be the norm. Like you always cussing somebody out. You always popping and rolling your neck. But I want to be able to be like, have a stern. Oh, I have met some people that can have a stern talking with you and tell you exactly how they mean, and never ever do it without grace. Never ever do it. They don't raise their voice. It's just something about them. They just able to be like, because they mean what they mean it. They mean what they say. And I'm like, I play too much sometimes. So and I really think like if you truly know me and you're in my core circle, like my family, they don't be taking stuff that I say serious because I say something and then not follow through on it. So I had to understand, even if I do it sometimes in a joking way, that builds a rapport with people where they think like, okay, whatever, she just saying that, like she ain't mean it. And then, you know, when you do start to mean it and you do start to set those boundaries, then you do look like, you know, people like, oh well, now she mean or whatever, you know, unfair or whatever. But it's like, I really mean this. I really mean what I said. And I want to be able to do that, like with so much grace. I want to be able to be like check the hell out of you and not raise my voice. Like, not even, still look like in my little playful face, playful voice, like I'll look now. Like, yeah, no. You know, I ain't like the way that you said that. I ain't like the way it made me feel. And identify to you the way it made me feel. It made me feel unappreciated. It made me feel less than. It made me feel whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, those is some, you know, some people are really good with voicing those big feelings out loud. And that has not been my ministry. That has not been what I've been good at. I have not been equipped like that, right? And we gonna base that on, some different traumas, some different learned behaviors. Just always, I realize that I've always been a person, believe it or not, because I'm sure you'll meet some people and they be like, wait, what? Because I'm telling y'all, I could be a walking contradiction. My spirit has always been a spirit to keep the peace. But I told y'all, I'm a shit talker, trash talker. I'm going to talk the trash, okay? So when you is a trash talker, people don't think like, you know what I'm saying, like that, like, because I'm like in my family, like I'm talking trash to the kids, I'm talking trash to everybody, I'm the mean auntie, I'm telling the kids they gonna get in trouble, all this ain't really gonna do nothing, right? This is just fun, you know what I mean? So it may seem like I'm not like the peaceful one because I call you out right then and there, like, you know what I'm saying? But I prefer the peace. I want the peace. Like, but I want everybody to get along and joke and have fun and to be able to talk trash, but peacefully. Not like we really coming for each other, like on some hardcore, like, battling each other with our tongues. Like, no, like on some just like, yeah, we're having a good time. We laughing, we trash talking. In a peaceful manner. I'm all about fun. I love fun. So, that's really where my spirit has always sat. And when your spirit sits at trying to keep the peace, that means you will try to keep the peace even if it disrupts you. So you'll try to keep the peace in the outer, in the external things, external places, but disrupt your internal peace for that. Sacrifice your internal peace for external peace. That don't even make sense. When I think about it, right? And I think about the ways that I have been and the things I have done, it's like, does it truly make sense to sacrifice your internal peace for external peace? No, no. Because guess what? If the people around you cannot gather their own peace, let it be and remove yourself. That's what I used to have the problem doing with removing myself. I had FOMO. I had to be everywhere, do everything. I didn't want to miss nothing. Even if I was somewhere and I was uncomfortable. Even if I was somewhere and I felt anxious. Even if I was somewhere and I felt these big feelings. Number one, I wasn't connected with the big feelings and didn't have the words to connect to the big feelings. But I also would just stay there. Stay in it. Because I want to, like, being attracted to chaos. Being attracted to chaos. Like, being bored. I was always bored. I will never forget to say, and I don't even know if I already shared this on this podcast, but if I did, that's okay. Might share it again. But it said, I don't know if I watched it on TikTok or whatever. But it said that when you grow up in chaos, peace feels like boredom. I said, baby, when I heard that, and this was a couple years ago, it resonated in my spirit because when I was young, that was my favorite word. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. I got to have something to do. Need to find something to do. And I would go find something to do every day. I would be somewhere every day. I used to not get my rent money's worth because I was at other people's house. I was gone somewhere. I was doing something. I was at work. When I got off work, I was here. I was there on the weekend. I was here. I was there. I was everywhere. Because me sitting in my own house with myself, with my kid, was calm. Like, you know what I mean? Me and her was calm most of the time, unless she did something, I got rah-rah. But she was calm in her room, I was calm in my room. And for my unhealed spirit, my trauma bond inside of me that was just used to this chaos, needed that. And I needed that. I thought it was boredom. So that resonated so badly in my spirit. Like, sometimes first of all, we have no clue that we have trauma. Number one. Number two, we have no clue what it is actually really doing to us. You know what I mean? And it's very hard for you to identify it till you start to do the work, till you start to get the knowledge and things like that. So with that being true to myself, it really it's taking me to a space where I'm able to tell myself, even if I don't tell nobody out loud, which I'm going to end up telling somebody out loud. As you can see, this is what I do. I'm in front of the mic. So I've always been transparent, but now I'm getting more vulnerable. And I'm getting more vulnerable because I'm feeling more safe within myself, telling myself the truth about how something makes me feel and what it's doing to me, and being comfortable in it, not just saying it, like being comfortable in it. And if I do feel uncomfortable when I say it out loud, getting to the root of why. Getting to the root of why I feel uncomfortable saying my truth. And typically it's going to lead back to perception. Typically it's going to lead back to not even today's perception, yesterday's perception. What somebody perceived you as before in your past in that moment that is rooted. So, let's just say, for example, if somebody called you stupid, right? So as you grow in life, and if that really resonated and really rooted with you when you was a child and it took a root, it planted a seed and it took a root. And when it took that root, so as you grew older, anytime anything might have merely triggered your intelligence, then you automatically went into whatever mode that may be, whatever emotion that turned on for you. If it was anger, if it was sadness, if it was guilt, if it was, if you went into anxiety or depression about it, if you went into like this self-doubt loop, negative self-talk loop, whatever it may be, whatever it aligned with within you, that's what you got to get back down to is, okay, what, if you can remember, if who said it, when, how old, if you can even think about the place. Cause I'm always say the body keeps the score. You can think about the place. If your mind is amazing, you can think about the scent. Depending on how much it triggered you, the scent that was going on, what happened. You can think about the way everything. Now my mind don't work that great. Oh, I wish it did. Lord Jesus. Part of me don't wish it did because I feel like, ooh, that would be too heavy for me, and God don't put nothing on you can't handle. And if I remember that much in detail, I think that would be a lot for me. But sometimes I want to be like, dang, I really want to remember. It takes me a lot to get to my roots because I forgot a lot. You know what I mean? Dissociated, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, I don't remember that. You know what I'm saying? So it take me some digging. You know what I mean? I can't just take a little shovel and scoop it up. We gotta, what they call it, like tilling the ground or something, where they put that little thing in there and they spin it around and they pull it up. Like, I gotta do that because I don't know what happened. Who knows? But it's work, and it's hard work, and you gotta do it. And I'm so grateful that I'm doing it, right? And I pray that if you're watching this, that you're doing it too. And me speaking out loud about my true experiences and my real life experiences that are happening in the moment. I pray that it does something for you too. So I was gonna start this podcast off on a different note, and maybe I'll end it on this note. But I wanted to say, because we got here talking about like the truth. That's what I uncovered in myself this month on my radical self-awareness journey, is that I struggle with being true with myself. So it led me to something that I seen that I wrote down. Don't know when I wrote it down. Don't know why I wrote it down. I wrote a lot of things down, and this one just stood out to me. Some other ones did too, and I'll talk about those on other episodes. But it said, is your trauma blocking your potential? Is your trauma blocking your potential? I was like, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because of your trauma, the roots of that trauma that you have not dug up yet is making you self-doubt, making you negative self-talk, making you a people pleaser, making you not be able to live in your truth and walk in your truth with your chest out, head held high, neck to the sky. I really want to be a rapper, low key, right? Okay, anyway. So, like, if it is doing that, it is 100% blocking you from your potential. Because I believe to get to where you're supposed to be, where you're really going, it takes more than dedication and grit and grind and hustle. We know it takes way more than that. We are starting to debunk all of those things. And that's why we're all starting to move in soft and ease and rest, because we know, excuse me, that you get to your potential better that way, and you get to your potential healthier that way when you're able to knock out some of those things. So it's like, hey, y'all probably gonna get sick of me talking about trauma, unless you really love it like me, and you're really doing the work, and you really need this. You know what I mean? And even if you ain't ready for it, you ain't gonna be able to chew it up. But hopefully you're ready for it and you can chew it up, because it means so much, right? It means so much, and it does so much to us that we don't even understand. We have to get a hold of it. We have to get a hold of it. We have to do the hard work. It's so hard. It's so hard. And I understand why people don't do it, because I have literally been having some days. Like having some days, honestly. And those days is because I'm healing. And I was like, and I had to tell myself, Candace, you are doing something that most people will never do. You are doing something that no one in your lineage has done. You are doing something that you want every generation that comes after you to be able to do. So we gotta dig out that trauma so it can get out of the way of our potential. I don't need that trauma my way. I got things to do, money to make, lives to shake. In a good way. Shake, like, lives to shake. Like, you know what I'm saying? My impact, I know God wants me to impact people's lives in a big, big way. So I need to shake it up. Come in here and shake it up. So, like, I have to deal with my trauma. You know what I'm saying? I have to do those things even when they get uncomfortable, even when they get really, really hard. I still have to fight the good fight, because we ain't here just for us. You're not here just for you. I'm here. You here for them kids, if you got some, or the relationships, the friendships, the husbands, the wives, the family, whoever you here for. But you here for somebody, and it's not just you. And it's gonna take some work. And guess what? If you ain't got a lot of trauma to heal from, oh, more power to you. Just dig up the little bit you got to do and come on out. You know what I'm saying? We all got it, though. I don't believe that anybody was able to escape trauma, even if it didn't come from familial. Like, if everybody didn't get trauma from their family, you know, some people actually have amazing families. But it might have came from kids at school. It might have came from work. It might have came from, relationships. It might have came from somewhere, but we all have it, in my opinion. I believe we all have some form of a trauma. Some of ours is deeply rooted, further rooted than others. Some of ours stop at our belly. Some of ours go down to our feet. If I'm just thinking about roots, like, you know, some of ours may be planted in the ground and got us stuck. That root and went down up out of the sole of your foot and planted you in the ground, and you just stuck there. And you don't know how to, you keep trying to pull your foot up. And it won't come up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Bend down. Or ask for help. Yeah, ask for help. Tell somebody, hey, come over here. This root is down so far that I can't get it. This root is down so far that I can't get it. Can you help me get it? Because that's what community is about. That's what this life is about. Us needing each other, people. That's what we're here for. So it's cause if your roots is deep down there, even if they ain't deep down there, but you may need help. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a lot about farming, like I said, but they don't be out there farming by themselves. They got help. Even if it ain't people, it's the animals that's out there helping them. Like, somebody is out there helping them. Let somebody help you. Let somebody help you pull those roots up. You know, like, that's what we're here for. Let this podcast help you pull those roots up. If you ain't got a connection yet with somebody that you can reach out and touch, like, let this heal you. Let many other podcasts out there heal you. You know what I'm saying? Is help you. Heal you, help you, heal. Like, you know, those roots gotta come up though. They gotta come up. They gotta come up. So you can be able to be comfortable with telling yourself the truth. I'm getting comfortable with telling myself the truth. And it is hard, but it's so rewarding. Like the reward feels amazing. So it's like half my body is like, oh, this is really, really hard. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. But the other half is like, this feels so freaking good. It feels like liberating. Like, you feel liberated. I feel so liberated being able to be like, oh, that made me sad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how kids just come out and tell you whatever. And that's how I'm starting to feel. That's how I know I'm going back to remembering her. Because I'm able to start to tap back in with my truth and be comfortable with my truth. So I'm gonna wrap this one up, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this one up, y'all. But I'm gonna wrap it up with be comfortable in your truth. Learn how to be comfortable in your truth by digging up those roots. Oh, boom. Y'all, I really got bars, baby. Learn how to be comfortable in your truth by digging up those roots. Is your trauma blocking your potential? Ask yourself that. Jot something down once you ask yourself that. Journal that. Is my trauma blocking my potential? And think about, okay, like this trauma, that trauma, you know what I mean? Things that you do that could be led to trauma. And what's some things that you're working on, like far as your potential, like to get, what are some things, and see, is that trauma blocking your potential? I'm going to do that as well. Like I've said it out loud, but I never journaled it. I just gave myself an idea too. I'm going to journal that because I know it is. I'm able to be true about that. I know it's some parts of my trauma that's blocking my potential that I'm still working through and currently working through and going to continue to work through. So ask yourself that. But y'all know how we got to end this. I'm staying consistent. Y'all know I struggle with staying consistent. So we're going to pull out a card of those Speak Heal Grows. Last week was heavy. And I still, can't fully answer that. But I'm going to work on that. I'm going to process that some more. So let's see what we're going to get guided to today. Y'all know I've been going with these conversations. So let's just see. I don't know. Okay, let's just see this for this one. So let's see what this say. Hopefully it's not one we already did. Okay, hold on. This is another heavy one. Jesus! Be honest. Was one relationship in your life that no longer serves you, but you've been afraid to let go of? Well, these cards is deep. And I made these. I created these. And be forgetting that they that deep. I always want to go deep. Be honest. What's one relationship in your life that no longer serves you, but you've been afraid to let go of? Ooh, this is a good one. Okay. The relationship I have with past versions of myself. The relationship I have with past versions of myself no longer serve me, no longer need to protect me, no longer needs to show up in my daily life, no longer needs to guide and drive the boat, no longer needs to tap me on my shoulder and try to remind me of those things, whatever those things may be. That is the relationship that I need to let go, that no longer serves me. I no longer have to hold on to those past versions of myself. I no longer have to hold on to the armor that those past versions of myself carried. I'm thankful for that question. And I'm thankful that I was able to answer it in that manner. Because I always, even when I first read it, I thought automatically about who I need to let go. Because y'all know I'm ready to cut them off. I'm always ready to cut somebody off. And I was just like, sometimes the relationship you need to let go of is not external. It's those internal relationships you have with the things in you that no longer serve you. You could be in relationship with those as well. Woo, so we ended that on a deep note. I'm going to have to process that. I like that. Thank you, God. Listen, we're going to give him the honor and the glory right on this camera. Because I appreciate that question. I appreciate that I was able to answer that question within myself. Y'all are seeing me live in living color, showing you the healing. This is real, y'all. This, oh my gosh, that was so, like, this is real because I'm really in awe that I answered that question that way. And that's so truthful. And it did not make my spirit uncomfortable. Like, it made my spirit, like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, so now I can go process that tonight. I'm going to go do that. Oh, thank you. So y'all already know. We not saying hope. I pray that this episode touches whoever it needs to touch. I pray that you get whatever you need to get from this episode. And I pray that you continue to tune in and listen to your girl. Y'all, all major platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. New episodes drop weekly. Fridays, 12 p.m. Visuals drop weekly on YouTube, and that YouTube is I Am Candace Tell. Head on over there, like, share, subscribe. Y'all go subscribe, because guess what? I have a bingo board mark that I'm trying to get, and I need 100 subscribers, and I got 30, so I only need 70 more. So y'all go do that for your girl, okay? Y'all help me get a bingo. I'm trying to get like 2 or 3 bingos this year. I only got 1 bingo last year. Let me get a couple bingos. I need y'all, okay? So thank you so much. Y'all know I love coming to be able to talk to you guys on this microphone, and we're learning and we're growing right in front of each other, and even growing in everything about our podcast. I'm be using different mics all the time because we learning and growing through different mics. But y'all tune in next time for Talk and Tell That podcast. Okay? Bye, y'all.